All right, there we go. Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to this week's edition of the BFTAA and More Show. I'm your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you live from KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. KUAW is a partnership of the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We came together to form this radio station, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, KUAW. So you can pick us up daily. We're on 24 hours a day. You can get us on Get Me Radio, on your Google Smart Speaker, on the TuneIn app, on Roku and Apple TV. So there's a lot of ways that you can pick me up. My Radio Tuner, online radio bot, and at our website, kuaw.org. We are a 501c3 organization under the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. So if you want to make a donation, go to our webpage, either kuaw.org, and in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see a PayPal dot. You can click on that. You can use your credit card or whatever and make a payment to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. But in the notes, put in for KUAW Radio. We try to keep it separate as to which one's raising the money, the BFTAA site or the KUAW Radio site. So if you like KUAW Radio and you want to support and keep us on the air, keep us improving this radio station, make a donation today. We would greatly appreciate it. You also can donate on our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook page, KUAW-Radio, you can make a donation there. So we're listed as a 501c3 on the Greater Kansas City Community Foundation's page, Black Family Technology Awareness Association. You can make donations there also. So there's just a lot of ways that you can support this radio station, and the best way to support us is by listening to us. That's right. If you'll pick us up on your smart speaker, tell your Google speaker to play KUAW Radio. Tell your Amazon to play KUAW Radio, and you can get us on all those different locations. So we hope that you will listen. I hope that you enjoy and give us some feedback. Let us know on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on anything that you pick us up on, how you like the show. What do you think about it? How we can do different, how we can do better. We have some old school music. We play some blues and a lot of smooth jazz here on KUAW Radio. So we're always ready to listen to what you want to hear and what you would like to hear. So get in contact with us. Just send us an email, kuaw985@gmail.com. That's our email page. Or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter at KUAW Radio. We'll be glad to hear from you, and we'll get back with you. So this radio station, we have a lot of things going on today. They tried to launch the Artemis rocket. That didn't take off, so we're going to talk about that a little bit and some of the things that are going on with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and our robotics program about registering to vote and who is registering to vote, and new programs that we're going to be bringing. One of the things we like to do is to encourage our young people to get involved in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we hope that you would tell your kids to listen in, tune in on this, because that's what we talk about is STEM. And we use NASA as one of the sites that we go to a lot, and we're getting ready to bring in some more. But NASA is one site that puts out a lot of information that's related to STEM. And we would like for you to take advantage of it. Also, have your kids listen to it. And also get involved in some STEM programs, either at your school or through the BFTAA or some of the other organizations that are all offering coding, computer programming, robotics, flight training. There's a lot of different CAD drawings. There's a lot of different programs at a lot of different places that whatever your child may be involved in, let them explore it. Bring them down. Let them see what it's like and see if they like it and if that's something that they want to pursue. Because in technology, there are a lot of good paying jobs and a lot of good careers and company. Not just jobs, but you can form your own company. There's a lot of entrepreneurs who started off as engineers. Elon Musk, for one, was an engineer. So, there's a lot of people that are doing great things, and it doesn't have to be with just computers, but they are involved in the science, technology, engineering, or math. So check it out. Now, one thing we're going to do is we'll bring you right now what's going on this week at NASA, if I can find it. I think I've got it over here. Let me put myself up on a big screen. Okay. Yeah, we're going to bring you what's happening this week at NASA. See what they're talking about's going on there. Let's see. Where is that? I think that's right here. All right. Let's get ready and check it out.
The countdown to our Artemis 1 moon mission, a moon-observing small satellite hitching a ride on Artemis 1, and some other tiny satellites that could help us better prepare for space weather. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. We are targeting Thursday, August 18th for the rollout of the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket, and Orion spacecraft to Launch Pad 39B at our Kennedy Space Center. We will provide a live stream of the move on the NASA Kennedy YouTube channel. The SLS and Orion are targeted for a no earlier than Monday, August 29th liftoff on the uncrewed Artemis 1 test flight around the moon and back. The test flight is the first in a series of increasingly complex missions to help us establish a long-term presence on the moon in preparation for sending astronauts on to Mars. NASA's Lunar Ice Cube, a water scouting CubeSat, is preparing to hitch a ride to the moon as part of our uncrewed Artemis 1 mission. The small lunar orbiting satellite will use a spectrometer to investigate lunar ice on the surface of the moon. Scientists are interested in the absorption and release of water from the moon's rocky and dusty surface, or regolith. Lunar Ice Cube will also study the exosphere, a very thin atmosphere-like volume surrounding the moon. By understanding the dynamics of water and other substances on the moon, scientists will be able to predict seasonal changes for lunar ice that could impact its use as a resource in the future. The first of 6 toaster-sized satellites for our Sun Radio Interferometer Space Experiment, or SUNRISE, has been completed. The tiny satellites will combine to form a 6-mile-wide telescope in space, capable of detecting bursts of radio waves from the Sun's superheated atmosphere known as the corona. SUNRISE will help scientists better understand explosive space weather events. These phenomena generate particle radiation that can jeopardize astronauts and technology in space and adversely affect communications and power grids on Earth. SUNRISE is targeted for launch in 2024. On August 11th, we transferred ownership and operational control of the Earth-observing Landsat 9 satellite to the U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS. Landsat 9 is the most recent in the Landsat series of remote sensing satellites, which provide global coverage of landscape changes on our home planet. The Landsat program, a joint effort between NASA and the USGS, recently marked 50 years of continuous service observing Earth from space. Seeing Earth from space with your own eyes is a unique experience. But this recently released ultra-high-definition video might just be the next best thing. Imagery in the video was captured between April and October 2021 during the Expedition 65 crew's time aboard the International Space Station. Check it out for yourself and download if you like at go.nasa.gov/EarthViews4K. A quick note about an upcoming change for NASA television. NASA TV programming on Galaxy 13 domestic satellite is moving from transponder 11 to transponder 15. Currently, both transponders are active, but distribution of NASA TV programming on transponder 11 will end on Monday, August 29th. For complete details, please visit go.nasa.gov/transponder. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right. So that's what's going on in NASA. A lot of things going on, especially with that little, or with that instrument that's going to go down and check the lunar ice, because if they can locate water and be able to use it, there's a lot that they can create, a lot that they can do if they can find water and then make use of it. So going to be set up a station on the moon, which is a lot farther away. You think that the space station is a long way up there. Going to the moon is a great distance away. I think about 200 and something million miles. So it's quite a ways away. So you would, if we could set up and have water, and if they could find ways to use that water and purify it or whatever to make use of it, it could save having to try and carry that type of thing up to the moon, because people would need water. And if you can't take it up, if it's not there that you can use, then it's got to take up room on a spaceship. That would be heavy. That would be a lot of water. So if they could find it on the moon and make use of it, that would really be a great thing, a big saving. So I know they're looking, and it's a lot of good work. But they went to launch the Artemis, and it didn't go. They had a failure. They had to postpone the launching. They think they're going to try and launch it again Friday. There's going to be a press conference tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern time, so that'll be about 5 o'clock in Kansas City time, to announce what's going on, what they found. One of the problems that they found was they were trying to get the temperature of the engines ready for the launch, and one of the engines, I believe it was engine number 3, they couldn't get the temperature right. So when they try to put that liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen in there for the propellant and the fire, they have to make sure it's at the right temperature. You don't want to put that real cold stuff like 200 degrees below freezing into the engine and cause it to crack or blow up. So they try to cool the engine down with some bleeding in some of the liquid oxygen, bring the temperature of it down so that it is controlled, and then it won't, tear up the engine when it fires up. But they couldn't get that to do it. They have 3 engines on there. 1 and 2 did okay. The third one didn't, so they had to scrub it. If they could find out what the problem was with that propellant and cooling the engine down, then they'll launch on Friday. If not, they may have to take it back in and work on it. It may put it back for some months. But we don't know. They'll let us know tomorrow. You can bet there's a lot of brains working on it right now that are really trying to get this thing together, because Friday, September the 2nd, there's a 2-hour launch window they have. So if they can get it all together, figure out how to cool that engine, what went wrong or what stopped it from cooling, and fix it, then they will launch Friday. So we'll be watching, waiting to see that Artemis rocket is bigger than the Saturn. And I was down at the Houston Space Center and saw the Saturn rocket, and that thing was huge. If they got a rocket that's bigger than that, each engine on those things are bigger than a tractor trailer. I mean, they're huge, and that would be a sight to see that launch. So hopefully they can get it figured out, find out what's wrong, and get the launch to go off okay. So we're going to stay tuned to that. Now we're going to move right on into space to ground right now and see a little bit more of what's going on at NASA. So let's stay tuned. Let's watch Space to Ground. Let me get it right for you.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Shaniqua Vereen. This week, a Dragon sails back from its stay in space, and we prepare to take one more step to the next giant leap. On Friday, August 19th, NASA and SpaceX CRS-25 cargo mission autonomously undocked from the International Space Station, packed for the return trip with roughly 4,000 pounds of experiments and other gear for researchers to analyze. One day later, the cargo craft re-entered the Earth's atmosphere with a parachute-assisted ocean splashdown off the Florida coast. One experiment that landed back on Earth is the Missy 15 NASA, containers holding a variety of samples from an electric textile that tests fabric sensors to solar cell material to see how radiation, temperature, and vacuum impact performance. Samples printed from the German Space Agency-sponsored Bioprint First Aid experiment also returned on Dragon. European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer tested a device that aims to use bioinks containing a person's own skin cells to cover a wound and accelerate healing. For over 2 decades, the International Space Station has enabled thousands of microgravity studies in ways that no other platform has been able to. These experiments are paving the way for future deep space exploration. By combining the findings we can get in lunar orbit and results from science conducted aboard Earth's orbiting laboratory, humanity is getting closer to a return to the moon, and this time to stay. To learn more about the research and technology advances aboard the space station, head over to nasa.gov/ISS-science. We are going. We're in the final hours before the launch of Artemis 1, the first mission on our journey back to the moon. This week, NASA's Flight Readiness Review ruled go for the launch of the uncrewed Artemis mission to the moon. The review was an in-depth assessment of the preparedness of the 322-foot-tall stack, consisting of the Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft, currently sitting on the launch pad at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Countdown of the launch of Artemis 1 will begin on Saturday, August 27, with liftoff scheduled for 8:33 Monday morning, August 29. We will provide live coverage of pre-launch, launch, and all of the major milestones throughout the mission on NASA television, the NASA app, and the agency's website. That's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right, yeah, glad to have Space to Ground bring us that information. A little bit was redundant because we do know about the Artemis flight being scrubbed, but some of the other information was very good. So glad to bring you that information. All this is from nasa.gov. You can find these podcasts and videos on NASA's site and even more things that you can do. They got things for your children and things if you want to learn more about science that you can pick up for free right there at nasa.gov. So be sure and check it out. All right, we've got election season coming on. This is the off year for election as far as it's just a primary, it's not presidential. But since the ruling that outlawed abortion or allows states to make their own laws as far as abortion is concerned, we've seen a surge in several states have seen a surge in women registering to vote. So women have really gotten fired up and they're registering to vote. Don't know which way a lot of them are voting, but it definitely says they are getting fired up, that there's more women registering to vote now than before. They're outpacing men in registered vote. It says Target Smart, which is a Target Smart Insights, is a Democratic political data services firm, found that women are out-registering men by significant margins in states where reproductive rights are in danger of being repealed, such as Kansas, Wisconsin, Michigan, all of those states. In Kansas, women out-registered men by 40%, making 70% of all new registrants women. Early this month, voters in the state rejected a proposed amendment that would have paved the way for the Republican-led state legislature to ban the procedure. However, Kansas was not the only state to see an increase in female voter registration. In Michigan, where legal battles are taking place over abortion rights, women out-registered men by 8.1% since the Supreme Court's June 24th decision of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. And last week, a state judge blocked county prosecutors from enforcing the 91-year-old law banning abortion in Michigan, while courts considered a lawsuit seeking to overturn the law. In Louisiana, women outpaced men in new registrations by 13% since the decision, while in Pennsylvania, women out-registered men by 12%. So it says this isn't a blue state phenomena. In fact, it's more pronounced in states where choice is more at risk or has been eliminated by the decision. And that's from the CEO of Target Smart. He tweeted that. So that was some information out there on the web about registering to vote. And I think that we all should be registered to vote. You should register to vote and try and go out and vote. Don't just register to vote, but go out and vote and try to cast an informed vote. Don't just vote because somebody says go vote. Vote because you feel that you should vote, that it's your civic duty, and that you want to put the right people in office, or that you want to affect the right laws or the right amendment or whatever it is that's on the agenda or on your voting ticket when you go up there. You want to be informed about it. The last time I went to vote, things that were on there, and there was a lot of stuff on there in our primary, and some of them I hadn't really studied on, so I couldn't vote on them because I don't want to vote yes or no on something that I haven't really looked at the ins and outs of it and can give an informed vote. So don't just cast your vote if you don't know. Try to find out. So I've got to do a lot more studying before November election time or voting time comes up, so that all the things that are on there, I want to have some opinion or have read something about the different articles or different taxing situations, whatever's going on, to know what I'm doing. Because if they have a school levy that's going on, well, what is that levy for? They usually tell you what they're wanting to buy, what they're wanting to spend it on, and you can either agree with spending on that or not. You don't have to vote for every school levy that comes along. You don't have to say that I'm just going to vote for it, whatever the schools want. School may be wanting something that you really don't agree with or really don't think that they need to spend a lot of money on, and you can vote no on that. Or you can vote yes on the things that you feel they do need and you want to support for education in your community. So give informed voting when you vote. Don't just vote to be voting, to just say, well, I went and voted, but they say, what did you vote for? Who did you vote for? Why did you vote for them? And that would be a good thing, to do. We don't want to just go out and vote and then we don't know what it was, because then if something happens or they say, well, that passed, and you say, well, I don't like that. Well, why'd you vote for it? You said you voted for it. Well, I didn't understand it. Well, if you didn't understand it, don't vote for it, yes or no, because you need to have understanding of what you're voting for. So let's get informed. Let's go out. Let's make ready and get ready to vote come November. Register. I don't think the deadlines have passed. So if you haven't registered to vote, everybody that's 18 years old and older, and if you're going to be 18 in the next time, whatever the time frame is, before they close off the election time, then you can register to vote. So register to vote, then get the information you need for voting, and vote your conscience, vote the way you feel you should vote. So that's my public service announcement for right now. I have to get that out. We're getting always some new stuff in here. Got some new music in this week. I got a CD from Niels, I guess is his name, or Niels, N-I-L-S, Cool Shades. So I want to thank them for sending us, they think enough of the Smooth Jazz station, or Professor Smooth Jazz, to send music that's coming out so that he can play it. So that's some of the things that we do. We play a lot of smooth jazz. We play some R&B and some blues. So some of you blues artists, if you want your music to get out there, because we do have blues shows on Saturday and Sunday, send us your MP3s or send us your CDs or whatever you've got, and we'll put them on our blues shows that we play on the weekend. So, hey, just reach out to us. We're trying to be of service, and we want to bring that blues back, because the blues are all right. Yeah. I also want to let you know that our robotics program, we're gearing up, getting ready for robotics at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. Right now, our start date is set for September the 17th. So if you'd like to get your child involved, and that's from 9 to 18 years old, get in touch with us or go to our website, BFTAA.org. That's BFTAA.org. And there's a link in the middle saying register your child for robotics. If you want to get your child in our robotics program that will be starting, I think it's Saturday, September the 17th. I'm pretty sure that's the date. We need you to start registering now. It's first come, first serve. We're going to keep the class sizes smaller than they had been in the past, because the pandemic may have eased, but it hasn't necessarily gone away. So 10 to 12 students are going to be probably the max that we're going to have in the class. So if you want to get your child in the robotics class that will be happening on Saturdays from noon, we start them at 12:30 to 2:30. If they come in at 12 when the tutoring programs are ending, we usually try to have a snack for them, a break for kids. If they haven't been here all morning, you can just bring them in around 12:15. The class will start at 12:30 and go to 2:30. We're going to have our Legos and our VEX. We've got a brand new coach that's in training and learning, and she's going to be introduced to our young people, and we'll be doing Legos for the kids 9 to 12 years old, from 12 to 18 years old, or if you're going on 13, somewhere in between that 12 and 13 bunch, you can go into the VEX program. So our elementary school students will do Lego, and our middle and high school students will be doing VEX. So get your kids in, get them lined up and signed up so that we can call you and let you know when the classes are starting and that you are included. Go to BFTAA.org. Tell your neighbors, tell anybody that has children that they want to get involved in robotics, that they can go to BFTAA.org and sign up. Or they can call us or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and we can give you the information that you need to enroll. But there's a link on our webpage that says register your child for robotics, and you click on that, it'll bring up a form, fill it out, and we'll have you registered for our robotics program that's going to be starting in a couple of weeks here. So get them signed up, and let's bring them in. We want that robotics program to be full so that the kids can learn and have a great time. So please do that. We also got another program that we're bringing in, and it'll probably start second semester. We're in talks with the people now about starting a drone cadet program right here in Kansas City, the drone cadets. We're looking at having that program starting here in January for the second semester. So they'll do, mainly the younger kids, they'll do Lego through December, and then in January we want to switch them over to drones, and they'll build a drone, fly a drone, program a drone, learn everything about licensing, about checking the weather, and everything you need to know to fly drones and fly drones correctly. So if you want to get your child involved in the drone program, stay tuned. We don't have a registration for them just yet, but we will be doing that. And first opportunities are going to go to the Lego students that want. So our Lego students that want to go into drones will be the first choice, and then any open spots, we'll open those up to new students coming in. But we wanted to try and have something that gets our Lego kids a full school year of learning. And before, once they got through December, we had a hard time figuring out what we were going to do with them for the rest of the year. So we're wanting to bring drones in, so the kids that are working with the Lego will do Legos until second semester. Then after the spring break, or maybe even before the spring break, sometime in January, they will switch over to working with drones, and they'll get a chance and opportunity to build the drones. We're going to give you more information about that program. We're going to have to raise some funds to purchase some equipment, but we're bringing the drone training, the drone cadets, to BFTAA, the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. We wanted to get that out there to you. Things are happening. We're hoping to have a good school year and roll right on into the summer. We've been behind and not doing as much during the pandemic as we wanted to. Everybody's chomping at the bit, and we really want to get out there and bring you a good program. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the Drone Cadet program, and you can hear from the guy that founded it. He was a military guy, sergeant. So listen to this right here.
In 2011, I started my journey as a New York City corrections officer in Rikers Island, and I was placed in the adolescence. I was 16 to 18-year-olds. From there, seeing a lot of young individuals come in and out of jail. You know, recidivism is huge. It's big in New York City, in New York State, globally wise, in the United States it is. So 2016, right? Next slide. I had to ask a question, right? I wanted to ask this question, as a correction officer, what if I could break, right? If I could break the chain. Next slide. Saw the need. I wanted to break the chain. 2016, again, the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, came out with the unmanned aircraft general exam, and there I took this exam, and my career took off. Right, I created a curriculum mandated towards drone technology for the youth. And this whole is during my presence still in the correction department. And as I'm doing this, I started training the youth. Next slide. Started training the youth, and as I was training the youth, I saw that there's a method on ways that we could literally change the trajectory and the course of these youth by exposing them at an early age to block out that recidivism. Drone technology is one of the most disruptive technologies around. All right, we're using it during COVID-19. We use it for environmental spraying. We use it for drone deliveries. We're using it now. And this is the time, during this course, when I started training and started building this curriculum, we've had over so many students, thousands of students I've already trained throughout the Hudson Valley and New York City area, internationally, from the Bahamas to Curacao, and we're touching parts of Africa. So, now that COVID-19, we have gone virtual, done our camps online here. We've done tons of outreach, and, next slide. What we're going to be looking for, right? What we are looking for, and the passion that I have for this industry is that, I want to make it scalable. I put nationwide, but I'm talking globally, because the thing about drone technology, it disrupts every industry, all right? From product to service to safety. And these are the jobs and careers that I want to expose more Black and brown students to, all right? I need, we have a train-the-trainer program, I need a volunteers, trainers, right? I need equipment sponsors. Drones cost money, right? The products are expensive, so I do need sponsors on that. Back-end solutions. We have an app right now that we can be able to track our students, their flight hours, so then we actually do this pipeline to these major corporations that I'm in, the relationships I've already created. They can see the flight hours, they can see exactly where they've been and how they're scalable in the industry. These are the things that, it's going to make people of color build, and these are the jobs of the future. As a military man, I've seen it, I've witnessed what, the jails could do to a young man, all right, and ways that we could prevent that. And I believe if we expose them to this technology at an early age, we can drive down recidivism. Thank you very much. My question to the panel is, right, since I, my course that I do have, my curriculum, a lot of times Wi-Fi is an issue, right? So Wi-Fi is a big thing in a lot of communities that I teach in. So how do we overcome that digital divide, right? Because we have two devices, right? The drones themselves have to be on an iPad or an iOS device, right, or an Android, and then they have to look at, a laptop. So how do we fight that, to make Wi-Fi more accessible to the areas where minority communities are at, so that they could be, scalable, and they could be able to learn the products and the services that I want to teach to them.
Burge or Ron, did you want to jump in? Because I do.
Sure, I'll share a little bit. Thank you, first off, Tony. And that was your story, and the motivation behind this was absolutely inspirational. I think you're onto something wonderful. Question for you, are you gearing this for, I see the picture and I see really young people. Is it intended for the elementary grade, or is it intended for a wider audience?
So so we start them at 8 years old. That's where we start them at. It's a pipeline. So we have drone cadets juniors, then we have drone cadets teens, and then they drive into our drone lecture phase. So it's a pipeline that we keep. We have to keep tabs, right? So we have to keep.
Yep.
It's for all audiences. Let's just say from 8 to 88. How about that?
All right, that's great. That's fantastic. So I've seen so many things in education that are meant to take what is science and math and bring it into something that's manipulative, and I kind of feel this is a little bit along with that thesis, and I think there's a lot of great examples out there that are doing that sort of thing. I also think there's an awakening on tech when it comes to the career and tech ed programs that are out there, energizing them with newer technologies, and I think this kind of fits so nicely into that model. So I support it all the way. I also would say, you mentioned the need for Wi-Fi. There are companies that are dedicated to Wi-Fi solutions, home-based Wi-Fi solutions for education. I know a few. I'd be glad to collaborate with you offline and share some of those names with you and the connections that I have at some of those organizations, so you don't have to call like an 800 number and be a stranger. I'd be glad to be part of this. I think you're onto something
yes,
wonderful.
this was a
and I think
project that we're
we all know.
up. Let me see if I can get that out of here now. It's supposed to stop when I close it. It says it should shut down when it's no longer visible. There we go. No, it didn't go off. Okay, what's going on here? We're getting a repeat. Now I got to start it, and I can't get him to be quiet. See what's going on here. I don't know. That's one thing with some of these slots that get started. I'll have to pause it, then that's what we'll. There we go. So it doesn't keep repeating. All right, but that was Mr. Tony Reed, and we actually have a member of the BFTAA organization that's in contact with him now, and we're looking at trying to see if we can get that program, or we want to get that program here in Kansas City and be able to offer it to students, families right here. And as you heard him talk about, it's going to start with kids 8 years old. So we'll start with the smaller group, and we may work with them and just bring them on up the pipeline into flying drones, because that's a career field. People make good money now flying drones. You know, drones have become big business, and it's not just a toy, or it's not something that the kids are just playing with. It's actually a career path that kids can go into. So it's good to learn that, or expose our kids to it, so they can decide or see. You might find out that your kid has an aptitude for that. He really likes it, and that's what he wants to do. So we need to expose our kids to all different types of technologies, and if they can have fun, then that's good, because flying a drone, as I said, they have to learn how to program. They'll learn some mechanical building expertise, engineering, and design work, all of that. So there's a lot more than just flying drones or building robots. It's what they learn by doing. And a lot of times we learn more about what we do than just somebody telling you or reading something. Putting your hands on it and actually doing it can make a big difference. And you say, oh, I see how that works now once I put it together. So that's something we want to talk about, and we're going to bring. If you want to get in on this drone program, contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. If you happen to be into drones, if you're a drone pilot or work with drones and would like to help kids in it, contact us. You can contact us on our Facebook page. You can contact us by email, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, or KUAW Radio. Look for us on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook, any of those, and you can call us at the station, 816-599-6893. You can put a post up, and we'll read that. So just let us know you want to get involved in that drone program that we're looking at starting here in Kansas City, and we'll let you get involved with it. It's not, we're not trying to make it a secret thing or something really that we want to hold wraps around. No, we want to bring it out for everybody. All right, before I close, I was looking at some information, and we all need to look at a lot of information. It was from the government site, from the president's site, the White House actually. It talks about the student loan relief for borrowers and who needs it most, and what's it all about. You've been hearing on the news about the $10,000 canceling of student loans, and $20,000 if you had got a Pell Grant. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more to that law or that bill that President Biden signed than just the $10,000. They're wanting to change a lot in this student loan program. One of the things they want to do is other than just the debt cancellation, I saw that they also have make the student loan system more manageable for current and future borrowers. So it's not just that you're going to get that that one-time shot. They want to make it more manageable going down the line. They want to cut the monthly payments in half for undergraduate loans, okay? So they want to lower that. Says the Department of Education is proposing a new income-driven repayment plan that protects more low-income borrowers from making any payments and caps monthly payments for undergraduate loans at 5% of the borrower's discretionary income. Half of the rate that borrowers must pay now under most existing plans. So he's going to cut back the payment plan. This means that the average annual student loan payment will be lowered by more than $1,000 for both current and future borrowers. So now they're saying that if you get out of college, or say you dropped out, you didn't really finish, so you got to go to work and start paying back this loan, and it used to be a certain amount, like 10% of your pay that you had to put into it every month, and there was penalties if you didn't pay and stuff. Now, if you pay, and you got to make your payments, don't miss your payments, because then a lot of times all bets are off. But there's lowering it down to just 5% of your discretionary income. And discretionary income is the money over and above what you need to live. So 5% of your discretionary income is what your payments will be. And that's going to be a big savings for a lot of people. And they want to fix the public service loan forgiveness plan. So it'll be more ways and a little more streamlined that you can get your loan forgiven by working in nonprofits or doing other community stuff that can do it. It also wants to make the community college free, to double the maximum that you can get for the Pell Grant. So there's a lot of things in here other than the $10,000 and the $20,000 everybody on the news is talking about, and they're going to reduce that and that. But I was asking the question, well, what is it going to do for somebody that just goes to school? The people that already have a bill is one thing, but what about students coming in and that? But they're looking at a lot of different things. So if you get a chance, or not even if you get a chance, if you're thinking about going to school or your child's thinking about going to school, there's a 3-part plan, and it's more than canceling just $10,000 of student debt. They want to help prevent the next generation or the next group of students from getting into that kind of debt in the first place, making it more manageable, and that you can do it with less problems afterwards. So check it out. Go to the White House. It's the fact sheet that they have right now. And President Biden announces a student loan relief for borrowers who need it most. And this is from the White House. So go check it out. So when you talk to people, they won't just say, well, it's just $10,000 and $20,000. That's not going to help. They're talking about doing a lot more than just giving about $10,000 relief and $20,000. They're talking about lowering payments that you still have, because $10,000 to $20,000 may not get rid of your bill. Most people owe more than that. If they average around 15 to 20, 25,000 in debt, 10,000 is good off, but you still got that other 15. But if you can lower that, if you can keep the interest rate from being added on, you know, if you can pay back just flat money, whatever you borrowed, you pay that back to the government. You don't have to pay it back with interest. All of those type of things we need to think about. So check out the fact sheet on the student loan forgiveness that President Biden has signed. It's a little more in depth than what you're hearing on the news, so you need to check that out. Well, I kind of went over my time, but I wanted to tell you about it, and I hope that you'll go there and look it up. You can find it on the White House page. Go to www.whitehouse.gov. And you have to look in the briefing room and statements. It goes way down. But search for the fact sheet. President Biden announces student loan relief for borrowers. That'll get you to the right thing. All right, that's my show for today. I'm a little bit over. This is your host, Louis George Walker. That's right. I'm right here at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and KUAW Radio, located in the WEB, the Boys Learning Center. And we're signing off for today, but we'll be back every Monday from 5 to 5:45 if we don't go a little bit over. And we hope that you will join us again. And remember, every first and third Monday following my show, there's Shifting Paradigms featuring B. Michael Long. So be sure, it won't be this Monday coming up because it's Labor Day and that'll be a holiday, so we won't be on either. I'll probably have a recorded show on instead of my live show. So everybody have a good, safe, and happy Labor Day, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a great time. That's all. Bye-bye.